Peppa Pig, read it yourself. Going boating. Peppa, Miss Rabbit, boat. Emily Elephant, Danny Dog, Captain Dog, Pedalo. Peppa and her family are going boating. Hooray! Boats, come and get a boat here, says Miss Rabbit. Not these boats, says Daddy Pig. We would like one of these easy ones, please. These pedalos are easy, says Mummy Pig. I would like a pedalo, please, says Daddy Pig. Peppa and her family all get into the pedalo. You will have to pedal, says Miss Rabbit. Emily Elephant and her family are going boating too. We would like this one, please, says Daddy Elephant. Danny Dog and Captain Dog are going boating too. Wow! We would like this one, please, says Captain Dog. Everyone is boating. You have to pedal, Daddy, says Peppa. This is not so easy, Daddy Pig says. All of the boats are here. Hooray! It is time for a picnic. Everyone loves picnics. It's time to come in, says Miss Rabbit. So, who will get back first, says Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig pedals and pedals. This is not easy at all, he says. It is Captain Dog who gets back first. I love boating, he says. Everyone loves boating. The end. Peppa goes to hospital. Today, we are going to visit Pedro Pony in hospital, Madame Gazelle tells the class. Pedro's leg is broken and the doctors are mending it. Peppa has never been to the hospital before. Except when I was born, of course, Peppa says. I'm wearing my nurse's outfit, Susie Sheep says, because hospitals are very serious. But when the class arrives on the children's ward, the walls are full of colour. Ooh, they all say as they set off to find Pedro. Pedro is in bed with his leg in a plaster cast. Does it hurt? Zoe Zebra asks. It did at first, Pedro says, but not anymore. Do you want to draw on it? What's it like being in hospital? Asks Peppa. It's great, replies Pedro. Nurse gives me stickers and comes whenever I press this button. Another nurse comes over with a trolley. Lunchtime, she says. Spaghetti and sponge pudding, please, says Pedro. Wow, you get to eat in bed, gasped Peppa. Dr. Brown Bear visits Pedro. You're nearly better and ready to go home. The bell rings. Visiting time has ended. Get well soon, waved the children. A few days later, Pedro is back. Where is your plaster cast? Asked his friends. My leg is all better. It's a super leg now, Pedro says. Thank you for visiting me in hospital. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe.
Captain Daddy Dog. Peppa George and their friends are playing at Danny Dog's house. Woof! I'm a sea captain, barks Danny. I'm sailing my ship around the world. And we are jolly pirates, cries Peppa. Arr! Mummy Dog asks Danny and his friends to come outside. Mr. Zebra the postman has delivered a postcard from your daddy. He's finished his sailing trip and he's coming home, says Mummy Dog. Hooray! Cries Danny. Mummy Dog and Danny are very excited about Captain Dog coming home. I wonder when he'll be back, asks Mummy Dog. Danny and his friends hear a sound coming from the bottom of the hill. Hello! Daddy's here already, cheers Danny, racing down the hill. Hello, Danny, says Captain Dog. How long are you home for, Daddy? asks Danny. Forever, replies Captain Dog. My travelling days are over. I've sailed around the world and made my fortune. Wow! Hooray! cheers Danny. Danny and Captain Dog walk up the hill to see Mummy Dog. Mummy Dog, my sweetheart, says Captain Dog. I really missed you both when I was away, so I'm hanging up my captain's hat for good. Captain Dog takes everyone inside the house and tells them all about his travelling adventures. Wow! I've been away for a year and a day, sailing around the world, he begins. All the way around? asks Danny. Yes, replies Captain Dog. What did you do at the bottom of the world? asked Peppa. Did you fall off? asked Danny. No, says Captain Dog. I held on tightly. It was an adventure, he says proudly, imagining himself back at sea. I've brought presents for you all, says Captain Dog. Here is a drum for Danny, some seashells for all the children, wow, and a chest of gold and jewels for Mummy Dog. Oh, thank you, Captain Dog, everyone says. Oh, how lovely, cries Mummy Dog. Gold and jewels will come in very handy. The next morning, Danny and Captain Dog are up very early. I've got a boat that Grandad Dog made for me, barks Danny. You could help me sail it at the pond, Daddy. That sounds like fun, says Captain Dog. Let's get Mummy Dog and go there now. Will you be my boat's captain, Daddy? asked Danny when they arrive. I'd be delighted, Danny, says Captain Dog. Will you be my first mate? Wow. Yes, please, cheers Danny. Launch the boat, commands Captain Dog. Aye, aye, Captain, replies Danny. Peppa George and their friends are at the duck pond too. My last adventure was sailing a boat around the world, Captain Dog tells him. My next adventure is sailing a boat across a duck pond. Captain Dog likes sailing across the duck pond. Everyone likes sailing across the duck pond. The end. Granny and Grandpa Pig's attic. Peppa and George are at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Hello, my little ones, calls Granny Pig. Why is Granny on the roof? asks Peppa. We're tidying the attic, says Grandpa Pig. The attic is where old things are kept. Granny and Grandpa Pig's attic is at the very top of the house. The door to the attic is in the ceiling. Wow. How do we get up there? asked Peppa. You climb up a ladder, Peppa. I'll send it down, says Granny Pig. The attic is dark and dusty. Granny, there are boxes everywhere, cries Peppa. They're full of old junk, says Granny Pig. Peppa and George are here to help us throw some things out, says Grandpa Pig. How about this box, says Granny Pig, pulling out a ship in a bottle. Then she pulls out another ship in a bottle. The box is full of ships in bottles. No! cries Grandpa Pig. I need them all. Well, we have to throw something out, says Granny Pig. Grandpa Pig finds a box of hats. Not my hats, says Granny Pig. They can't decide what to throw out. I know, says Granny Pig. We'll let Peppa and George decide. Peppa spots something on the floor. Let's throw away this old case, she says. Not that one, cried Granny and Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig opens the case and shows Peppa and George what's inside. It's a record player, says Grandpa Pig. Wow. Record players are used to play music, explains Granny Pig. Grandpa Pig puts a record on and music starts to play. Come on, Peppa, George, let's dance, says Grandpa Pig. Dancing in the attic is fun, cries Peppa. When Mummy Pig arrives to pick up Peppa and George, she looks around but can't find anyone. Then she hears noise coming from the top of the house. Mummy Pig climbs the ladder. There you all are, she cries. Mummy, look at this record player, says Peppa. I used to play this record when I was little, says Mummy Pig. It's called Birdie Birdie Woof Woof. I thought it had been thrown out ages ago. Everyone sings along with the record. The birds go woof, the dogs go tweet, woof tweet, woof tweet, woof woof woof. The sheep go moo and the cows go baa, moo ba moo ba moo moo moo. Birdie Birdie Woof Woof is a very funny song. That was fun, says Grandpa Pig. But we were supposed to be finding things to throw out. You should keep everything, decides Peppa. Everyone agrees that that's a very good idea. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Pumpkin Party. It is a lovely autumn day, and Peppa and George are getting ready for their Halloween party. First, they scoop out a pumpkin to make a lantern. Then Mummy Pig fixes a candle inside and lights it. "Ooh, lovely," sighs Peppa. Mammy and Daddy Pig help Peppa and George put on their costumes. Peppa is a witch and George is a dinosaur. Peppa cackles. "Very witchy," says Mammy Pig.
Dinosaur! Arr!
Growls George. Peppa and George's friends have arrived. Everyone is wearing a spooky Halloween costume. Suddenly, they hear a howl. "Oh!" "What was that?" asked Peppa. "Only me," laughs Danny Dog. "I'm a werewolf." Peppa notices that Emily Elephant has a green face. "What are you, Emily?" she asks.
I'm an alien. Blub, blub, blub.
She replies, laughing.
And Edmund is a ghost. Actually, I'm a paranormal apparition,
corrects Edmund.
That's a clever clog's ghost.
Daddy Pig appears at the door. "Welcome to the party, everyone," he booms. "Come and have some pumpkin pie." Inside, the house is decorated with balloons, cobwebs, and hanging toy bats. Even Madame Gazelle has come to the Halloween party. "Hello," says Susie Sheep.
I've come as a vampire.
"A vampire," sighs Madame Gazelle. "That reminds me of home." How strange. Madame Gazelle doesn't seem to have a reflection in the mirror. Daddy Pig puts on some music for everyone to dance to.
I love pumpkin parties,
Peppa shouts.
I love dressing up,
says Susie Sheep. And everyone loves pumpkin pie, says Daddy Pig. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Spooky Halloween. It was Halloween, and Peppa and George were at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house.
Please, can we only do spooky things today, Granny?
asked Peppa.
Yes, of course,
replied Granny Pig.
Most definitely,
added Grandpa. Grandpa Pig loves Halloween.
Shall we bake some spooky treats?
said Granny Pig.
Yes, please,
cheered Peppa and George.
Don't these cakes look yummy?
said Grandpa Pig.
They're not yummy, Grandpa,
said Peppa.
They're spooky. Oh, yes, very spooky.
Grandpa grinned.
Your house isn't very spooky, Grandpa,
said Peppa.
It isn't at the moment,
said Grandpa Pig, showing Peppa a great big box.
But let's see what we can do with these decorations. Wow, gasped Peppa, you have so many Halloween decorations. Yes, said Grandpa. We've collected a lot over the years.
After they had made the house spooky, Peppa and George wanted to make themselves spooky too. They looked in Granny and Grandpa Pig's dressing box.
Monster! Roar!
shouted George, putting on a funny monster costume.
Look at me!
cackled Peppa, who was dressed as a witch.
And I am the spooky vampire!
said Grandpa in his best vampire voice.
Let's try on all the spooky costumes,
said Peppa excitedly.
Mummy!
shouted George, dressing up as a mummy and falling over his bandages.
Meow,
purred Peppa, looking just like a witch's cat.
Ticka ticka, said George, tickling Grandpa Pig with one of his 8 furry spider legs. I'm rattling my bones, said Peppa, shaking her arms and legs in a skeleton costume. Dressing up in spooky costumes was lots of fun, especially when Peppa and George both dressed up as ghosts. Boo! Shouted Peppa, jumping in front of Granny Pig. Oh, you scared me, Ghost George, said Granny Pig. No, I'm Ghost Peppa, Granny. That's Ghost George over there, said Peppa, pointing and giggling. Peppa and George decided to change one more time. George liked the skeleton costume the best, but Peppa had something else in mind. Look at me, said Peppa. I'm a magical Halloween unicorn. Well, we can't have Halloween without a magical Halloween unicorn, can we? Laughed Grandpa Pig. Granny and Grandpa Pig gave Peppa and George a big round of applause. You're both so spooky, said Granny Pig. What spooky thing can we do next? Asked Peppa. Why don't you put on a spooky show? Suggested Grandpa Pig. Yes, cried Peppa. We can invite Mummy and Daddy and our friends to watch it. That sounds like a lot of fun, said Granny Pig. Spooky fun, asked Peppa. Oh yes, of course, Peppa. Spooky fun, said Granny Pig, laughing. Later that afternoon, Mammy and Daddy Pig arrived at Granny and Grandpa Pig's house. Wow, Granny and Grandpa Pig have gone all out this year, said Mummy Pig as she knocked on the door. The door creaked open, and there stood Grandpa Pig in his costume. Welcome to the spooky house, he said. I trust you have come to watch this evening's performance of the spooky show. Yes, replied Daddy Pig, a little confused. Once all their friends had arrived, it's time for the spooky show, announced Peppa. We hope you find it spooky, cried George. Everyone in the audience clapped and cheered excitedly. Peppa and George took it in turns to dress up in the spooky costumes, jump in front of the audience and shout, "Boo!" George was a monster, and Mummy, and a furry spider, and Peppa was a black cat, a ghost, a rattly skeleton, and a cackling witch. Ooh, gasped their friends, giggling. So spooky! At the end of the show, Peppa and George jumped out in their favourite costumes. I'm the magical Halloween unicorn and this is Skeleton George, Peppa cried. We hope you enjoyed our show. Peppa and George bowed as the audience clapped. Oh! Cheered Danny Dog in his werewolf costume. What a fantastic show, said Vampire Grandpa Pig, patting Peppa and George on the back. Well done! Now then, everyone, said Granny Pig, it's time for some spooky dancing. Hooray! Everybody cheered, jumping up to dance to the funny, spooky music.
Did you have a fun day at Granny and Grandpa's house? Mummy Pig asked Peppa and George on their way home.
No, Mummy, it wasn't fun, replied Peppa. It was spooktacular.
Peppa and George love Halloween. Everyone loves Halloween. The Peppa's Happy Halloween. It is Halloween, and Peppa and her friends are at playgroup. Welcome to my Halloween pick-a-treat, says Madame Gazelle in a spooky voice. Ooh, gasped the children. What's that? I've set up some Halloween games and crafts for you, says Madame Gazelle. After each one, you may pick a treat. Outside, Madame Gazelle hands the children pumpkin buckets to collect their treats in.
Wow! This is going to be the best Halloween ever,
cheers Peppa. As the children reach the playground, they are amazed. It is filled with Halloween stalls and decorations. Hooray! At the first stall, Peppa and her friends have to guess who is hiding in the spooky costume. Guess boo, says a voice from under the sheet.
Daddy, says Peppa, I can see your glasses.
Guess boo, says another ghost.
Daddy,
says Gerald Giraffe,
I can see your arms.
Well done, everyone, says Daddy Pig. You can all pick a treat. The next stall has a game called Mummy Rapping. Who can wrap up their mummy like a mummy, says Miss Rabbit. Ready, steady, go! Peppa and Susie Sheep race to see who can finish wrapping their mummy in bandages first. It's lots of fun. Now pick a treat, says Miss Rabbit. Hooray! Next, the children make some funny monsters.
Wow! My monster is looking at me, says Peppa, with all 4 eyes.
What a marvellous monster, cries Grandpa Pig. Would you like to pick a treat, Peppa? asks Granny Pig.
Yes, please,
says Peppa. Grampy Rabbit is running the magical broomstick stall. The children take turns to ride up and down on the broomstick.
I am flying on my broom,
sings Peppa,
all the way to the moon.
Great flying, Peppa, says Grampy Rabbit. It's time to pick a treat.
Hooray!
The children have lots of spooky fun collecting all their treats. When they have tried everything, they run up to Madame Gazelle together.
It's your turn, Madame Gazelle,
says Peppa, holding out her pumpkin bucket. What do I do? asks Madame Gazelle.
Pick a treat,
cry Peppa and her friends. Then they each give one of their treats to Madame Gazelle.
That's very kind, thank you,
says Madame Gazelle.
Happy Halloween. Thank you, says Peppa. This Halloween was the best Halloween ever.
Cheer all the playgroup friends. The end. Peppa Pig and the Halloween costume. It's almost Halloween.
I love trick-or-treating,
says Peppa.
And jack-o'-lanterns. I love dressing up.
George loves Halloween too. Peppa is trying to decide what she wants to be.
I know,
says Peppa.
I will be a pirate. I will sail the high seas and hunt for buried treasure. But I'm going to be a pirate,
says Danny Dog.
I even have an eye patch.
Wow.
Maybe I'll be a clown instead, says Peppa. I will do a juggling act. I'm dressing up as a clown, said Pedro Pony. I have big clown shoes and a funny red nose. Okay, says Peppa. Maybe I will be a nurse. I will make everyone feel better. But Peppa, says Susie Sheep, I am dressing up as a nurse. Peppa frowns. Well then, I'll be a witch, with a pointy black hat and a broom. Peppa, says Candy Cat, I already have my costume, pointy black hat, broom, I'm a witch. George has an idea for Peppa. Dinosaur! Peppa does not want to dress up as a dinosaur. Peppa thinks she'd like to be a brave space traveller. But that idea is taken.
Oh no!
She even considers dressing up as a vegetable. Sorry, says Rebecca Rabbit. What can I be for Halloween? Asks Peppa. Maybe a brave cowboy, a happy tiger, a sparkly ballerina. Peppa thinks and thinks. Then she has an idea. I will be a brave, happy, sparkly fairy princess. Peppa likes her wings, crown and wand, but her costume is not quite perfect. Peppa thinks that maybe there is something missing. That's it! Even fairy princesses need muddy paddle boots. Happy Halloween! Peppa Pig, the Pumpkin Contest. Today is Halloween at Peppa's school.
Wow!
We are going to have a pumpkin contest, says Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
Do you all have your pumpkins? Susie has her pumpkin. Pedro has his pumpkin.
Wow!
Emily, Freddie and Danny have their pumpkins too. Peppa does not have her pumpkin.
Oh no!
It's still growing at my grandpa's house, she says. Just remember to bring it for the contest tonight, says Madame Gazelle. All the children go home. They will come back tonight for the contest. Granny and Grandpa Pig drive Peppa to her pumpkin. Is my pumpkin big? Peppa asks. Oh, yes, says Grandpa Pig. Peppa's pumpkin is very big. Wow, cries Peppa. It is the biggest pumpkin in the whole world. Granny and Grandpa Pig help Peppa decorate her pumpkin. Spooky, says Peppa. Now it is time to go to the contest. Oh no, Peppa's pumpkin is too big to fit in the car. I will miss the contest, Peppa says sadly. No, you won't, says Grandpa Pig. We just need some help. He calls Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit uses her helicopter to lift the pumpkin. All aboard, she says. Next stop, the pumpkin contest. Back at the school, the pumpkin contest is about to begin. The children can't wait. Is everyone here? Asked Madame Gazelle. Peppa is not here, says Danny Dog. "Oh dear," says Madame Gazelle, "we will have to start the prizes without her." The prize for the best pumpkin from the market goes to Pedro Pony. Then the children hear a sound outside. What is that in the sky? It's a flying pumpkin. It's Peppa's pumpkin. Wow! Cry the children. Am I in time for the contest? Peppa asks. Oh yes, says Madame Gazelle. The prize for the best flying pumpkin goes to Peppa. Hooray! Shout the children. Happy Halloween. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Royal Party. Peppa and her family were very excited when Mr. Zebra, the postman, arrived with a special letter. This is for you, Mummy Pig, he said. It has a crown on it. I think it must be from the Queen. Wow. Mummy Pig opened the envelope very carefully. What does it say? Cried Peppa. It's an invitation, said Mummy Pig. The Queen is giving me an award for the book I wrote. Wow. She has invited us and her friends to her Platinum Jubilee garden party. Hooray! Oh, goody, said Peppa. What's a Platinum Jubilee party? It's a special party to celebrate the Queen having been Queen for 70 years, explained Daddy Pig. Wow, gasped Peppa. She must be nearly as old as you, Daddy. Daddy Pig chuckled. Almost, he said. Peppa phoned her friends to invite them to the Queen's party. There will be lots of guests, Peppa told Rebecca Rabbit. Wow. I'll ask my mummy to pack a giant picnic, said Rebecca. The Queen has a big garden, Peppa told Susie Sheep. We should take some games to play. Yippee! cried Susie. I'll do that. What should I wear? asked Danny Dog. Your smartest clothes, said Peppa, and bring boots for jumping in puddles. I know just what to pack, said Freddy Fox. The Queen sent a big red bus to take everyone to the palace. Are you sure we need all these bags? asked Danny Pig. You can't turn up to a royal party without bringing anything, said Mummy Pig. That'd be very rude. Oh, very true, said Daddy Pig. We wouldn't want to be rude. Peppa and her friends made up a song on their way to the palace. They sang it very loudly. It's the royal party today, let's sing all the way. It's the royal party today, hip hip hooray. As the bus got closer to the palace, there were lots of people setting up their own garden parties for the Queen's Jubilee. Peppa and her friends tried to do special little royal waves. Lots of people are celebrating with the Queen today, said Daddy Pig. When they arrived at the palace, everyone was very excited. I think there will be a giant chocolate fountain, whispered Susie. 70 giant chocolate fountains, said Freddy. I think she will have an enormous gold cake, whispered Peppa. 70 enormous gold cakes, said Freddy. The doors opened and they were led out to the palace gardens. They were surprised to see No food or drinks or games. Hello there, said the Queen. Thank you for coming. I'm afraid we had a slight hiccup. Sorry to hear you have hiccups, Your Majesty, said Peppa. No, I'm quite all right, replied the Queen. It's my party planner. He got the date muddled up. He thought the Jubilee was tomorrow, so we cannot have my party today.
Oh no!
Everyone gasped. But you must have your party, Your Majesty, said Peppa. Must I? asked the Queen. Oh yes, said Peppa. The whole country is waiting to celebrate with you. I'm not sure I can, said the Queen. I don't have any party things. We've brought some with us. What do you need? asked Peppa. That's very kind, but we need an awful lot, said the Queen. Food for all the guests. My mummy sent this picnic for everyone, said Rebecca, unpacking a giant picnic with plates of cakes, sandwiches and jellies. My dad packed these teapots and chairs, said Freddie. They're made of real fake gold. This picnic looks wonderful, said the Queen, but what will we do other than eat and drink? I don't have any games. I have these, Your Majesty, said Susie, who had 3 big boxes of garden games. Wow! Will they be okay? What fun, said the Queen. Yes, they will do quite nicely. Peppa and her friends pulled out balloons, bunting, and even a music box from their bags. Soon the garden was transformed into a royal party fit for a queen. How extraordinary, said the Queen. You have brought everything one needs for a royal party. You could say we pulled it out of the bag, ma'am, said Daddy Pig. When the other guests started to arrive, they were very impressed. It looks wonderful, they said. This is the best Jubilee ever. The Queen presented Mummy Pig with her award. Then everyone tucked into the picnic. But as they finished eating... Oh no, gasped the Queen. I believe it's raining. Whatever shall we do? Don't worry, said Peppa. I've got an idea. Peppa whipped out a pair of boots with a crown on them and pointed at a muddy puddle. I brought a spare pair of boots for you, Your Majesty. How delightful, Peppa, said the Queen. I dare say a royal party is not a royal party without some muddy puddle jumping. 3 cheers for the Queen! And Peppa! Everyone cried. That evening, everyone sat down to watch the Queen make a speech. I would like to thank Peppa Pig, said the Queen. Without her help, my Platinum Jubilee would not have gone ahead. I am giving her the Queen's Award for Royal Party Planning. Hooray! One does love a royal party, said Mummy Pig. Everyone loves a royal party. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.